Hi everybody, how's it going today? Thanks for watching another video. Just driving an telehandler here, moving some tires. We chopped some alfalfa here yesterday. It's around 150 acres. Neighbor of ours, Tyson, seeded some alfalfa for us last fall. This is the first cutting coming off that field. It was a little bit variable throughout the field. When he seeded it last fall, it was pretty dry and we never really got any rains afterwards. So some of it didn't germinate until this spring, so it was kind of a variable crop. But overall, I think not too bad. I haven't tallied up the tons yet that came across the scale, but I'll probably do that here sometime today or tomorrow. We got a little pile here that we're going to cover up here this morning. Once the guys are done feeding the calves and we need to put bedding in our calving pens. This is the pile here, just a little pile. We seeded some alfalfa ourselves also here this spring, but that's just starting to emerge now, so it'll be a little bit yet before we can get some alfalfa off of that. I didn't film any of the mowing and chopping. I figure there's going to be plenty of time here over the summer, hopefully, if we get some rain here. There is some rain in the forecast here this week. It'd be nice to get some rain on the corn and alfalfa, because it haven't had any rain in a couple weeks. It starts to dry out pretty quickly. Thought I'd show you guys this quickly. Last fall somebody had asked how we store our tires. So what we started doing here a couple of years ago is stacking them like this. So we throw them off the pile as we're opening the pile up, then we'll scoop them up with bale forks on the skid steer and stack them. This works actually pretty good. The only bad thing is this fork that we have here with that's on an extension. The forks are just too narrow. You can grab two stacks together, but it's sometimes not that easy and you end up ruining the pile. But with the forks on the skid steer, you can easily grab two. We've got all our tires that we're not using currently are stacked right here. And I thought while I'm back here I can show you quickly what we're working on. Hoping to extend the concrete on our silage slab here. My dad's moving some clay that I just dug out here this morning. So I stripped the black dirt off here with our little excavator there with the smooth bucket, and then I came through, set my laser up with the excavator and dug it out on depth. So this here has been dug out, and this worked actually a lot better than I was expecting. So kind of down towards that end was a little on the low side. We're pretty good here over here, but towards that side where my dad's dumping, we need to raise that up about 4 to 6 inches. And over here we're taking out about 6 inches. So it looks like we're going to be pretty close to having enough fill. There was a lot more black dirt down on that side than I was expecting. Up towards where we're standing here, there was around 4 to 6 inches, but down there's over a foot of black dirt. We want to get that black dirt off, because otherwise concrete could end up sagging down or sinking. So I'm just peeling it off, going 4 or 5 feet at a time, then moving over, and then having somebody move the dirt for me. It was working pretty good. I was a little bit worried our excavator was going to be too light. I've got our ditching bucket on there. It's a smooth bucket. It's kind of a wider bucket for this excavator, and I didn't know if we were going to have enough power, enough weight to make it nice, to be able to scrape that off nicely. But it's been working pretty good so far. Not sure where I left off there. It's got a phone call, but yeah, I was kind of surprised how well it was working with that excavator. Kind of been working on this at night after Eli goes to bed and Ian starts winding down. It's kind of my hobby. Work on it a couple hours at night, and then in the during the day I'd have Sam or one of the other guys move the dirt, and then I can dig a little more the next day. Hoping to start forming that here in the next couple days. We do have some rain to forecast. We're pouring some concrete around the house that some of our employees live at, that we put new siding on, and we're pouring a concrete pad around the outside. So we're going to do that today. Hopefully strip the forms here tomorrow and take them over here and start forming this up. And then we'll have a really good idea if we're close on height, which from what I can tell, I mean, I walked around with the stick a little bit. We're pretty close all the way across what I've dug out so far. So I'm thinking that should work pretty good.
We got that finished, and of course, like normal North Dakota, was super windy, but all things considered, that went pretty good. Just cutting the extra plastic off now. We'll save a little bit of what was left of that roll. It's not a lot, but maybe we can use it. We need a small piece here later on. My mom and dad had some friends over from the Netherlands, and we put them to work right away, help hold the plastic down.
Usually when you're putting plastic on, the more people you have, the better, especially starting out to get the plastic laid out. And you'll notice that we put the yellow plastic on underneath and then the white plastic. If you guys have been following along since last fall, we tried some plastic where it was 2-in-1, essentially the oxygen barrier together with the black and white plastic, but we're noticing more spoilage on our silage pile and on our earlage pile where we use that plastic. So we're going to be going back to the 2-piece plastic for this fall, is my plan anyways. It's a little bit more work and kind of a pain in the butt. It's hard to keep the yellow plastic down when you're trying to put the white on, especially if it's windy, but it definitely looks like it pays off, as we are seeing some spoilage on the top and on the edges of our 2 piles where we're feeding from now that have just that single piece of plastic on there. It's the next day here, still windy. It's been south windier yesterday. It was fairly windy this morning, right away this morning already. But it was a hot day yesterday, and last night it only got down to 75 degrees, which is typically not a good sign for milk production. There's a little more feed left in the bunks this morning than normal. It's supposed to get up to 95 today, and we're testing for milk today also, so that's probably not going to be a very good milk result. Very good test result as far as milk production for the cows, but we'll see. Tomorrow morning we're going to be taking the show calves that the 4-H kids picked out at our farm that they'll be showing at the fair in town. They'll be going to the fairgrounds here tomorrow morning, so I thought I'd show you guys the heifers here quickly and kind of talk a little bit more about that. So we've got a few here in these group hutches outside, a couple bigger ones here. They always like the brown Swiss and the red ones, just because they're a little different than the black and white Holsteins. Got a few younger ones here. And there's a few older ones in the barn. I'll go in there. It'll be a little less windy in there so you guys can hear me. So we're in the back of one of our milking barns here, directly behind our milking parlor. The oldest show heifers are in this little pen here, just because they don't fit in the group hutches. As you can see, they've been clipped. They're all nice and clean, ready to go. So these calves will all be, we were supposed to take them tonight actually, but with it being so hot today and still supposed to be fairly warm tonight, and the ventilation is not the greatest in the barn that they're in, we thought it'd be better to take them tomorrow morning, keep them out of the heat. It's actually supposed to cool down a lot over the next week, so it should be good for the fair. There's some highs in the 70s even, and in the low 80s. So it should be good weather, good temperatures anyways for the fair this weekend. They've all been halter broke, ready to put on a show. So some of the kids, all of these will be going to the county fair here, and some of the kids are actually going to take them to the state fair as well, which is at the end of July, I think. I don't know exactly the date on that, but some of these will be going to the state fair. The way it works, so it's all 4-H kids from our local community. They come to our farm, they pick out their own heifers, and then it's their responsibility to halter train them, walk with them, clean them up, clip them, and for some of the younger kids, the parents will help them. But the older kids that have done it for a few years, they kind of help lead the way also. Give some kids in our community that don't necessarily get to see a lot of dairy or a lot of cows or a lot of egg, experience working with livestock. It's a good learning experience for them, and they learn a little bit about our farm as well. They come to our farm as they please. Typically a couple months before the fair, they'll pick out their calves. We'll separate them into pens where they have easy access to them, and we take care of feeding them and bedding, cleaning their pens, but they take care of the rest. And when they're at the fair, at the fairgrounds, they'll be there for a little under a week. It's their responsibility there to keep them bedded, fed, and watered. And yeah, when the fair is done, they'll come back to us, and I think There's about 20 heifers in total, and I think maybe half or a little under half are going to the state fair, so those will stay in their separate pens, and the rest are going to go back into the pens they came from with the rest of their herd mates. The heifers look good. They did a good job cleaning them up and making them look ready for judging for the show. I think they also like the brown Swiss because they're a little more friendly to begin with than the Holsteins, but they can be a little stubborn too. So I don't know if that makes it easier or more difficult to halter train them. Anyways, just wanted to show you guys these heifers here before they go to the county fair. I've actually never been to the North Dakota State Fair myself, so maybe we'll have to make it a point this year with quite a few kids taking heifers to go visit them at the dairy barn and take Ian and Eli. Eli's not quite old enough yet, but Ian likes to go on the rides. He's been, on occasion throughout the year, he asks about the rides here in town, and they'll be here this weekend, so I'm sure we'll make it over there this weekend at some point, maybe a few times, we'll see. But yeah, we'll end the video here. I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video.